Have you ever wondered how a single gunshot could ignite a global conflict that would change the world forever? Let's travel back to the summer of 1914. Europe was a powder keg of tangled alliances, soaring ambitions, and intense rivalries. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary was the spark. Soon, the great powers of Europe were drawn into a devastating war, a war they thought would be over by Christmas. This wasn't a war of swift victories. It was a brutal slugfest. Millions of soldiers dug into miles and miles of muddy, rat-infested trenches, stretching from the North Sea to the Swiss border. Life in the trenches was a nightmare of constant fear, shelling, and disease. New, terrifying weapons made their debut: machine guns that fired hundreds of rounds a minute, poison gas that choked the life out of its victims, and massive tanks that crawled across the battlefield like iron beasts. The war to end all wars was becoming a grim, industrial-scale slaughter. Beyond the Western Front, the conflict raged across the globe. Battles were fought in the freezing mountains of the Alps, the scorching deserts of the Middle East, and on the vast oceans. Empires crumbled: the Russian, the Austro-Hungarian, the Ottoman, and the German empires all collapsed under the strain of the war. In 1917, the United States entered the fray, tipping the scales and bringing fresh troops and resources to the exhausted Allied forces. Finally, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, the guns fell silent. The war was over, but it left behind a scarred world. Over 16 million people, soldiers and civilians, were dead. Entire generations were lost, and the political map of Europe was redrawn. The Treaty of Versailles, meant to secure peace, instead planted the seeds for another, even more destructive conflict just 2 decades later. World War I wasn't just a chapter in a history book. It was a profound turning point that shaped the very world we live in today. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the past interesting, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.